Yeah, look, sometimes you have to enjoy difficult moments, and that first half was certainly a difficult moment. Bradford dominated us. We were a yard off where we needed to be, and if you're a yard off in certain areas of pitch against good quality players, they're going to hurt you, and they certainly showed their quality in relation to that first half. Conditions played a small part in that, but we were too far away from the blue shirts. Second half we had more purpose, more intent, better team, got stronger as the game went on. We were able to utilise our bench in the correct manner this time round, and we've come away with a win, which I'm delighted about.
Was there anything you particularly said to the lads at half
time? I can't repeat what I said because I get in a little bit of trouble in relation to that, but look, they were frustrated and they were disappointed. No player wants to play poorly, but I just felt too many poor performances were on the back of certain aspects of their game, and that to me was a focus of intent, just getting to a man. Doesn't have to be your man, but get into a man. If you get to one man, then another player knows their job in relation to that. And Greener and Wayne are brilliant because they call it grey areas. There was too many grey areas in terms of players' minds in that first half, out of possession, and unfortunately that fed into our in possession play as well. But we were deep on the pitch, and let's be honest, we were around our 18-yard box and our own area for a long period in that first half. So I was actually delighted to get in at 1-0, and I've just said to the boys there that 1-0 has to stay 1-0. Colchester's second goal was a killer, made it a big job to do in the second half. One goal gives you a chance, and we scored early to take any nerves out of the equation, and then we were the team on the ascendancy.
To begin that second half, you trusted the side that you put out in the first half. Didn't make any rash changes. Yeah,
it would have been wrong to do that. Look, I think everyone wanted to me to make changes, but sometimes you've got to trust your players and trust your squad and trust the personnel. And I felt we couldn't get any worse, put it that way. So if we just raised our game to a certain extent, I just asked them to give me some sort of control in the game, whether that's in or out of possession, and then I can start influencing it from the bench in relation to the game. And luckily I barely needed to do that because we were back on level terms pretty early on.
We've spoken about Tim Dieng and the impact he has on this side beforehand, but I mean, another fantastic finish from him, and he just keeps on scoring goals, which is...
Yeah, and look, I made him captain tonight, and it was a close call between Tim and Giovanni, both been outstanding and both for a bit of seniority in terms of a relatively young team. But I want Tim to be here for the long term, and I want him to enjoy his time here. He's scoring goals, he's contributing. No one's really talking about at the moment. He's probably played 4, 5, 90 minutes on the bounce now. Considering where he was for the first 10 or 12 league games of the season, that's huge progress. So now I want to keep him fit, but what a huge asset for this football club.
And an unlikely prolific goal scorer in George Ray.
Honestly, he just said then he always scores one and then he always scores the following game. It's just in the mind. Did he attack it with a bit more intent because he scored a good header on the weekend? I don't know. I just loved the fact that their bodies ended up on the floor and the ball ended up in the back of the net. Something we're crying out for as a team and a club, because if we start scoring set pieces on top of our open play attacking stuff, then we'll be a good team.
The attendance tonight, only 300 less than the original replay. Superb effort.
Outstanding. Look,
they didn't have to pay twice, did they?
Oh, and look, they stuck through. Look, there was a few murmurs, let's be honest, in the first half and at half time, and rightly so. They would have been disappointed with what they saw, but it's never going to be straightforward. We're not a good enough team to dictate a game all the way through, especially against a team of Bradford's quality and those conditions in the first half. So, look, outstanding in terms of contribution of the fans. Over all 3 games, and I think that's now 5 times we've played Bradford in a calendar year, and Bradford are a big team at this level, and we know how difficult it is. They've got some, I keep saying it, outstanding players. You saw how good they were probably for that first half period, and we were doing okay.
Alec Partridge, man of the match tonight, is that okay?
That's okay tonight, yeah. But look, I liked Alex and Sam. Look, the game at times was untidy, it was difficult for them, but I liked their intent. As we speak about intent elsewhere on the pitch, I quite like what Sam and Alex wanted to do. They wanted to defend tonight, and we speak about Tim Dieng's contribution, but getting Sam Stubbs on the pitch for a considerable amount of time only bodes well for the future, because we just got to build him up towards 90. Did he get 65, 70 minutes tonight, around that mark? That's more than 45, and all of a sudden he's starting to be selectable. Plus another cup game, which we might well use him in this weekend, depending on how he reacts off the back of tonight.
And he's certainly growing in confidence. We saw, particularly in the second half, he was sticking his head in front of everything.
Yeah, of course he was. He's a big scouser. It's pretty simple. A fantastic upbringing, keeps his game simple. I want to keep him thinking the right things in relation to what's expected of him. And sometimes when you've been out for so long, there's a simplicity in your game as a defender, which just means there's a rawness in it, and that's the best thing about it. And that's a perfect base to start from. So I'm looking forward to what he can bring and what he can contribute to the squad.
And finally, we're off to Cambridge now on Saturday. How do you prepare your side for a game that you weren't actually sure we'd be playing?
Well, no different. I mean, see how they are Thursday. And let's be honest, I didn't take a risk, but I left a few players on the bench tonight. I just felt a few players' energy levels at certain times in the last couple of weeks, along with the travelling, has just left them a little bit short at times. So we'll be better that Sam Nombe's only played 20 minutes, half an hour. Matt J, exactly the same. Archie Collins, 35, 40 minutes. So tonight didn't feel like a refresher, but I can't hide how happy I am to leave some of the so-called bigger, more well-known players on the bench for a longer period of time and still come through the time.